Hey everybody, it's Vincent. Hey, I haven't posted anything for a while and I'm sorry about that, but life does get in the way sometimes if this is not your full-time job, which it is not my full-time job. I just like posting cool stuff and things that I make. So, without further ado, obviously the things that have been popular lately are these CyberDecks that everybody's making with Raspberry Pis or other single board computers. I prefer Raspberry Pi myself. I've used it quite a bit on other projects and it seems to work pretty well for me. I, of course, decided to theme mine after my favorite movie, which is Escape from New York. And I went ahead and put it in one of these Pelican cases, and I'll probably do something more with this later on, but for now, I took some of the retro tape you might see from like Back to the Future and just put some labels on this and everything. And the actual Cyberdeck itself is seated inside, as you can see right there, with a few extra things in it like a charging cord and uh, block, and then it has some extra micro SD cards for the different OS platforms you can use on it. But the actual whole thing, when you take it out, is about this size. It's a little thick, but works pretty good, especially when you need something portable. And I've themed the back, as I said, with my Escape from New York theme. You can see that Escape from New York at the top with the United States Police Force symbol on there, as well as it saying Cyberdeck. So this is basically just a peek at this point of what I've done to create this, and I'm going to make the video here to show you everything that I did. I'm not sure if it'll be exactly a tutorial, but if I find that there's interest in that or you need some more detailed uh, instruction on how I did this, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. So let's go ahead and get on with the video.
You are now entering the debarkation area. No talking, no smoking. Follow the orange line to the processing area. The next scheduled departure to the prison is in 2 hours. You now have the option to terminate and be cremated on the premises. If you elect this option, notify the duty sergeant in your processing area. The once great city of New York becomes the one maximum security prison for the entire country. A 50-foot containment wall is erected along the New Jersey shoreline, across the Harlem River, and down along the Brooklyn shoreline. It completely surrounds Manhattan Island. All bridges and waterways are lined. The United States Police Force, like an army, is encamped around the island. There are no guards inside the prison, only prisoners and the world they have made. The rules are simple. Once you go in, you don't come out.
So I'm running retropie on here with emulation station. So that beginning part was my splash screen, and then I went ahead and I made a theme here that is an Escape from New York. I tried to go with the old school DOS green look and characters on the movie itself, so it looks pretty good. I modded it out from another one, but I think it turned out alright. It's got a few things I gotta fix, but for the most part I like the way it looks. Here are some better views of the actual CyberDeck itself. I was trying to go with that 80s sci-fi, something that looks like they would have issued Snake Plissken and Escape through New York. Give it that beat up look, military. Also wanted to give credit where credit's due. I took my inspiration from Cyberboy and then used parts from the remix from this gentleman here. So I just wanted to make sure I gave a shout out to each one of them. I did use some of this enclosure, but I ended up having to mod some of this stuff out. These backs didn't support the components, so I ended up having to use and make a thicker one with a actual border around it. I ended up using this power source, which was suggested by the gentleman who did the first remix, and it seems to work pretty well. I haven't had any issues with it, and this just gives an overview of how it was laid out. I ended up using a green light up button for the Cyberdeck in order to kind of give it that retro look. I found this sound module with a pedometer on it in order to adjust the volume. The original makes didn't have any sound with it, so I wanted to add sound. It was a little challenging because I had to fit it around different components, and I ended up having to take the shielding off the 3x5 jack, but in the end it worked out pretty good, and the pedometer worked well. The top there, I used a printed out button to try to give it that old school like walkie-talkie look. So another thing that I did that was a little different. I was not planning on using my screen as a touch screen, so I wanted something to protect it, and I ended up putting a small piece of plexiglass inside the enclosure in order to protect it, which didn't give me any problem. The components in general fit pretty good. I didn't have any issue with that. As I said earlier, the backing that was originally for this enclosure was super thin. I'm not sure why, but I ended up remodding it and making it a little bit thicker, and I added some walls and stuff in order for the screws to be able to easily attach to, which gave it some stability. It actually made it tougher all the way around. The speaker you see here in the housing is not the one that came with the components that I showed earlier. I used a smaller one that was thinner than the ones that came. It just made it easier for it to fit inside of the actual enclosure, and it works just as well. I'm just going to touch on this for a second. I tried to use an extender cable in order to have an external SD port, but for some reason Emulation Station just would not load with it. So I gave it up, and I ended up using a USB dongle that you could just put it in and out. It worked just as well. I hope you've enjoyed this overview of the Escape from New York Cyberdeck. If you have any questions, just drop me a comment. Alright, take care.